Welcome to Research Business Daily Report, made possible by RBDR's exclusive community at the crowdfunding platform patreon.com/RBDR. I'm Bob Lederer, for 25 years the respected voice in market research. Like everything else in the topsy-turvy research world we're all coping with and hoping to tame, the purchase of media is certainly not standing still, and Bill Harvey, who is our resident media research guru, wants to pass on an analysis of what buyers of media must consider altering, perhaps even reorganizing, in order to succeed. Bill has some historical context to begin, then some concrete considerations for today. Bill?
There was a time before radio and television when magazines were being bought and ads were being placed in them by advertisers and their agencies. And at that time, the context was king. There weren't circulation numbers back in those days, so you couldn't talk about cost per thousand or audience size. It was very early stages. And then as the media got more sophisticated and research made it possible to have numbers, targeting started to become important. So there was always two things. There was the impact of the ad, which you judgmentally assumed had something to do with the context of it. And then you would maybe pay more to be next to the context that you think would enhance the effect of the ad. And it was pretty much done on judgment, seat of the pants. And then as time went on, targeting became more and more important. And it happened in stages, and it tended to push down the importance of impact. Gender and age was kind of the obvious thing to target. It was the natural thing. I found that to be too simplistic. And then there were companies that came along that provided product usage data. It was based on questionnaires and claimed usage and so on. Byron Sharp taught in his book, How Brands Grow, that we have to always be thinking of the next new customer and not just trying to keep the old customers. Nowadays, people are thinking, because of Byron Sharp and his influence on the marketplace, about reach extension. Sure, you want to reach all the obvious people who are purchasers, known purchasers. What about the ones who are unknown purchasers, lapsed purchasers? So people are trying to extend their reach and to reach the next new customer. The ROI against people who were first new to category and then new to brand, the ROI was fine on new to brand as long as they were category users. The ROI, the immediate ROI, 1 year ROI on capturing somebody new to category was very low. So you tended to be investment spending. But if you change your mind from ROI to consumer lifetime value, those low ROIs turned out to be really good when looked at a 2 or 3 year or longer period. So Byron is right. And it does make sense to go out and target people who are psychological prospects, intenders, or persuadables. Schwerin, who invented modern copy testing, back in the days of radio, found out that a radio ad placed into a comedy, if it was for a packaged goods product, particularly a food or a beverage, had more impact than if it was placed in a fear-producing environment like a crime show. So I, in my early work at Gray and then at Interpublic, did a lot of work on discovering impact by program type and day part. And by specials. Nowadays, with buying audiences being kind of a mantra, it totally drove down the importance of context. People started to think, hey, I don't care what context I'm in. I don't even want to know what context I'm in. That was kind of stopped when on the digital side, advertisers found their ads near hate content, Nazi content, or whatever. And that kind of brought back a bit of a sensitivity to the idea of maximizing impact by where you place the ad, the content around it. We're going into an upfront where billions of dollars are going to change hands in a shark feeding frenzy over a period of about 10 days. It's only a couple of weeks away. And this is a chance for marketing scientists and data scientists to see how they can improve their game internally and convince CMOs to look more closely at removing some networks from the upfront buy, adding some networks to the upfront buy, adding some day parts on some networks to the upfront buy based on these context effects as well as targeting effects. All companies talk about wanting to maximize performance, but when you look at what they do in terms of discounting in order to gain quarterly sales quotas and so on, and keep the stock price where it's supposed to be, which is kind of hawking the future, because ultimately it catches up to brands to try to do that trick. Still, people in high places are playing that game and giving lip service to performance. So if you're in a company that really measures and cares about performance, this is a subject to bring up in the next few weeks.
That's your Research Business Daily Report. It's been made possible by members of our exclusive community on the crowdfunding platform patreon.com/RBDR. RBDR is produced thanks to the interest and the support of those who watch our videos, which are presented Monday through Thursday most weeks. We have supporters. They're called Patreon supporters, and they tell us that they regularly get great value out of watching our videos, pieces of information that they can use and apply in their own business, and even, in some cases, pass on to their clientele. And we trust that that is true for many of you out there in RBDR viewership land who may not yet be a Patreon supporter. But you do know that we've got 45 weeks of this series coming up this year, which means there is going to be a tremendous chest of information coming your way to pick and choose your value from. So seriously, we hope that we have given you a reason, a meaningful one, to visit patreon.com/RBDR, where you can select whatever comfortable level of patronage works best for you. We hope you have a great research day and that you'll be back to visit us here again tomorrow.